Welcome, Earthly Souls, to my channel, Earthly Soul Tarot. My name is Daniel. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're not new, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again for this collective reading. You guys, we're going to jump in with the Oracle first, and then we'll jump in with some Tarot and get some more details. So I want to see what the energy is looking like. If I believe so, we are entering Taurus season, or we have already entered Taurus season. So I'm expecting a lot of, much more stable energy, okay? But again, that's probably more so with Tauruses or Earth signs in general. We're gonna see what comes up. I don't know if this is gonna be collective or for an Earth sign, but it could be for both. Okay, so we are getting Take the Lead and Enchanted. Just funny because I just did a reading for, who was it, for Aquarius, and they got Take the Lead as well. So let's see. Take the Lead and Enchanted. I think a lot of you are starting to, and Go For It came up when the cards fell. I think a lot of you are starting to take charge of your own spiritual journey, okay? There's something here about spiritual growth coming through very heavily with that, okay? You could be trying to get more into like magic or energy work. Maybe you're going through a very significant spiritual journey or an awakening of some sorts. I'm hearing like an ego death as well. And there's something here in which you're starting to kind of let go of other people's expectations of you as well when it comes to this, or their opinions. I feel like a lot of people have very heavy opinions, possibly on your spiritual journey. Maybe you have religious family members or friends or people around you that don't really agree with the way that you see things or with the, with your beliefs. And in the past, I feel like that's something that could have been very... It weighed heavy on you because you value the opinions of these people, you love these people. But you're starting to realize how that it has nothing to do with you, right? You're starting to not really care as much. It's like sliding off of you, you know what I mean? It's not really attaching... That energy isn't attaching itself to you anymore. And so I feel like right now you could be feeling very light, very... cleansed almost. You could have done a lot of cleansing recently, and so you're letting go a lot of that energy that was just holding you back, that wasn't really serving you. Spirit, what can we get about these cards, about this energy? Oh, okay, we're jumping into the tarot now, so let's see what comes up. So yeah, the Eight of Cups is coming up along with the Page of Wands. Again, the Eight of Cups, you're letting go of these opinions, these expectations that you were holding on to from other people. These weren't even your own expectations. So you're starting to realize, why am I listening to these rules? They're not even mine. You know what I mean? They're other people's. And with the Page of Wands, I feel like you are becoming a lot more bold within yourself. You're not exactly where you want to be yet. I'm hearing it's like you still have a big way to go, but you are taking the correct first steps, okay, towards that path. So keep going, okay? Keep going. What else are we getting here? The Nine of Cups. You could also be feeling quite emotional right now. There's a lot of emotions coming up for you, specifically with the past, I'm getting. Maybe you're being called to, like take trips down memory lane and heal some aspect of yourself from the past. Could be from your childhood as well. Let's see what else. I'm getting very strong family energy for some reading throughout this reading. The World card is coming up for you, as well as the Ten of Wands. So again, here we go again with the weight that has been being put on you by other people. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, this energy keeps wanting to pop up. Why is this so significant, Spirit? Why is this so significant? The Ace of Cups. Because it has to do with your healing journey. It has to do with you. Okay. Yeah, this really could have been that big to you, okay? I don't know if you have other people. Again, it could be family, which is why it feels so heavy on you. It weighs so heavy on you. And it's definitely had an impact on the way that you show up now, okay? So I feel like there's huge energy here on healing some type of trauma with your family. So this could be family. It could be a family type of reading, okay? Let's see what else comes up. Oh, Oh, okay, yeah, the Tower is coming up for you. The Seven of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Very strong energies coming through right now. So there could be a certain type of fallout with a certain family member or several family members, okay? I feel like a lot of you are going through, again, like I'm hearing a rude awakening, okay, when it comes to family relationships. But this is necessary, okay? This Tower moment feels very necessary for your own spiritual growth, for your own journey. I feel like, I don't know why I'm getting the message. A lot of you could be wanting to move somewhere, but you feel like you have to settle some type of conflict or resolve some type of conflict with the people around you before you leave. You don't want to leave like anything, any loose ends. You want to tie those knots and make sure that they're secure before you move away from these energies. You could be thinking about cutting these people off, but I feel like some of you are quite hesitant about that, to be honest. So you'd rather just kind of like make peace, and move on and, be more distant, but not necessarily fully cut these people off. But I'm hearing that it doesn't matter what route you take, really. I think what really matters is the way that you do it. I'm not sure why. With the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like a lot of you have dealt with these people for a very long time. Okay, and these ideas that they've planted into your head have really become something that you heavily rely on. So there's a huge energy here of having to cut ties with that. Not necessarily that you have to cut ties with these people per se, but like you need to cut ties with the ideas and with the opinions, okay, that they've thrown onto you that have eventually become your own opinions of yourself, but they're not really your own opinions. They're other people's opinions that you've learned to just take in and say, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, the Star card is at the bottom of the deck. There's a huge theme of like spilling, okay, emotionally spilling, emotionally clearing, cleansing out this energy. The Sun card is also here. Oh my gosh, and the Seven of Swords right under it. This is shedding light on lies, shedding light on things that are not true. Okay, truths being revealed. They could be harsh truths as well. But yeah, this is like letting go of what isn't yours. Okay, so yeah, there's a huge, and again, that kind of makes sense with taking the lead. It's like, what do you think about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? What are your own rules? What's your opinion? I feel like people don't ever really ask you what you think about things. Okay? And I feel like this spiritual journey, this lesson that you're going through has a lot to do with that. Has a lot to do with taking the lead, going for things when you feel like you should, not because other people told you to, And with Enchanted being in the middle of these two cards, I feel like this is very, very backed up by spirit. It is very heavily, it's spiritually backed up, okay? I feel like you have a strong foundation in your spirituality that is really going to help you, okay, through this next chapter of your life, through this almost like detox. Let's see what else comes up for you. Spirit, can we get any future energies here? Can we get future energy? What is coming up in the future for the collective? The Four of Swords. So finally getting that rest, okay? Peace and quiet is what I'm hearing. Again, a lot of you could be thinking of moving away physically, possibly somewhere more retreated, somewhere more, a lot of nature, surrounded by nature. This could also symbolize a trip. Maybe you're going on vacation, taking like a solo trip. I feel like there's a huge significance on being alone, okay? And kind of just thinking. And this is also you finding yourself again, okay? Coming from a very non-biased perspective. Now that you don't have other people's opinions and their perspectives, blocking your own vision, you're able to see the bigger picture now. You're able to see yourself for who you actually are. And I will say, for a lot of you, it might be surprising because you haven't really looked at yourself in a long time. Maybe you are someone that doesn't like looking in the mirror either as well. So that's very symbolic, okay? If a lot of the times, you know, we can see it as like, oh, I'm just self-conscious, but it could also be something very spiritual, very subconscious, you know. um there's a part of yourself that you're afraid to look at, or that you just haven't been able to look at all because of these people's energies, but now you are. And so that might feel scary, it might feel kind of surprising, because you're going to be like, who is that? That's not me. Or is it? So yeah, you definitely are going to be going through a huge awakening, um relearning yourself in a lot of different ways, befriending yourself, I'm hearing too. So you could be going through a self-love journey soon. Spirit, can we get any energies that might be difficult? What energies will we struggle with? The Nine of Swords. So yeah, these realizations could cause a lot of anxiety, could cause a lot of overthinking. I'm also hearing like a disruption, just a disruption in general within your nervous system. I feel like a lot of you also, you have to start learning how to live without these people. Because I feel like, again, a lot of you were very dependent on them emotionally. And so now the only person you have is yourself and spirit. And so, you know, a lot of shadow work to be done. I feel like you definitely will have to go through a lot of shadow work to solve your own issues now. The Chariot and the King of Wands. Yeah, you could struggle with direction as well, or being sure of the decisions that you're taking. Because again, now that you don't have other people's opinions and other people breathing down your neck, that self-doubt is going to be very strong, okay? You might face some self-doubt here, thinking, oh shoot, like the only opinion I have now is myself. And, you know, it's going to take time for you to build your own trust. And so in the beginning stages, it's going to feel very scary. It's going to feel very risky anytime you make some sort of big decision, okay? Can we get advice? The Eight of Swords, yeah. Realizing that you are your own worst critic, okay? I'm hearing that very strongly right now. You're your own worst critic, okay? And learning to shift that narrative, okay? Again, with the self-love, I feel like self-love is going to be very significant for you. It's like you're going to be forced to go through a self-love journey. So prepare, get ready for that. But once you start to look at things for what they actually are, you're going to realize that you're not trapped. See how she's looking down at herself in the reflection and she's tied up? But she's not. Like, look at the reality of things, okay? Rather than coming from an emotional perspective. It's good to be emotional and to be led by emotions, but you need to have a balance, right? You can't just be all the time just looking at things based on how you feel, because sometimes things will get distorted, especially if you're not feeling the best in the moment, you know? That's why it's so easy for us to talk bad about ourselves when we're angry or when we're sad, you know, because we're in that emotion, we're feeling it. In that moment, that's our perspective, that's our reality. But sometimes our emotions can really play with our reality, okay? Temperance is at the bottom of the deck, so being patient with yourself, okay? This is a moment, this is an opportunity for you to get to know yourself on a deeper level. The good and the bad, right? Balancing those energies, okay? Yin and yang. Use those both energies to help yourself become more enlightened, okay? And elevate yourself. I hope that made sense. Let's get an oracle card for your final message, and then I think the reading will be done. Spirit, what can we get from the oracle? Okay. Just one. Self-regulation. It's the first one I saw, and actually this is the only one that's facing up on the desk too. So change your tune. Like I said, my loves, this is a moment in time where you are relearning yourself. You're changing your tune. You're changing the way that you think about yourself. You're also changing the way that you view yourself, okay, physically. And self-regulation. Now that there's nobody else to kind of help you regulate your emotions, and I say that with quotation marks because you thought these people were helping you. They're not. They're just throwing their own beliefs onto you. You were literally becoming a product of somebody else. And the fact that you were able to realize that, okay, is already a huge step. Plus, you know, being able to move on from those energies and put yourself in a more isolated space to kind of do this, you know, this self work, you're on the right path. Okay, you've gotten further than a lot of people have, so you should be proud of yourself for that. But yeah, this is a new journey of you changing the way that you think, changing the way that you act, the way that you view yourself, again with self-love, going through a self-love journey. And it's again very very backed up by spiritual energies, spiritual entities. You could have a lot of spirit guides watching you right now. You could be very connected to your spirit team, which is really going to help you. Okay, do not underestimate that at all. And continue to water that seed. Okay. But yeah, my loves, I'm gonna end the reading at that. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.